the camp when we came in, it was a forced labor camp. When the camp was a forced labor camp, it was under the authority of the Gestapo from the town. Later on, it was changed to a concentration camp, and the SS took over. And the Hauptscharführer from the SS was a tall, handsome man by the name of Herring. One time, my German engineer on the job that I worked called me in his office, and he hands me a handgun. He says, "I want you to take the handgun to Hauptscharführer Herring." I said, "How can I do it? You know, he's going to kill me." No, don't worry about it. I said, "What's the handgun doing here?" "Well, the firing pin broke, and we fixed it for him." So he wrapped the handgun, and I put the handgun in my shirt. When I came to the camp, I went to his office, and I gave him the handgun, making sure that the barrel pointed at me, not at him. Okay, and that's how we became acquainted. I addressed him with a higher rank that he actually was, and he didn't like it, and he took the dog against me. A while later, one day when I was coming from work into the camp, I was told that Hauptscharführer Herring has your father, and he's killing him, is murdering him. And I ran, right to the office where his officers were. I pushed away the SS, or Ukrainian SS guard, and I ran the office, and here was my father, stripped down, naked, and laying over a chair, and one of the guards was holding him down, and Hauptscharführer Herring, the man who I made acquaintance, was hitting him with a dried oxtail. That was his favorite weapon, and he had the big shepherd dog ripping pieces of flesh from my father, and I just couldn't help myself. I reached out and I stopped his hand in the air, and I said, "Please, don't hit him, it's my father." And so he said, "You crazy, I'm going to kill you." I said, "Kill me or do whatever you want, but let my father go. Please, this is my father." And he looked at me, he stopped in his, in his beating, and he said to the guard, "Take Friedman out of here." And my father put his pants on, he was bleeding, for the rest of his life. He had the marks from the dog on his body. And when they left, he says to me, "Are you crazy or are you brave? What are you? I mean, I can shoot you, I can kill you for what you're doing." And I just blurted out. I felt it was the only avenue that I had to reach him. I said, "If it was your father, you would have done the same thing." And he didn't say anything. He turned around, went to his cabinet, took out a bottle of brandy, poured two glasses, one for me, one for him, and he says, "Repeat what you said." I said, "If it was your father, you would have done the same thing." And he said to me, and he looked at me and he said, "I never had a father." Because we have to separate the spiritual resistance from physical resistance. The examples of spiritual resistance was the fact that we tried to hold services when possible. We held services during the first year we were in the camp, during the Rosh Hashanah. It came out on Saturday and Sunday, the first 2 days, the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah. So we held on Sunday, we worked on Saturday, but on Sunday was a day designed for cleaning, for doing your laundry, taking a shower. So we held services, and we had people watching for the guards, make sure, that, we wouldn't be found out, because we were found out, we would be punished for that. There were instances shortly after Rosh Hashanah, Sukkot came up, and how do you celebrate Sukkot? You don't have a lulav and esrog, the 4 species. Well, some people who worked outside brought willow branches, which are part of the lulav. Somebody stole a lemon in the German commissary, and we only had 2 parts of it, and this is how we celebrated. During Hanukkah, we lit the candle. You know, the basic law is you only need 1 candle to fulfill the commandment. Okay, 1 candle for a household. So we had 1 candle, we bought the candles from the poles, and we lit the candles, and people used to come into that barrack where we lit the candles. We said the blessings, and we sang, and we sang Maoz Tzur. We could do it in 1942 and 1943, but when they moved us out of Poland to German camps, we couldn't get candles anymore. One of the questions the most frequently asked is why did you let yourself be led to slaughter like sheep, okay? Which, you know, implied that we did not offer resistance, physical resistance, we did not fight, which was not factual, okay? One of the reasons that we did not practice that physical resistance was a system that the Germans instituted in the camps, was a system of group responsibility. If 1 person ran away from a job, 10 to 20 people on that detail would be executed. If a person ran away from barrack where he lived, 10 or 20 people from his room would be taken and executed. There were instances where, for whatever reasons, a brother ran away and left his brother, because if you had relatives, they were the first victims for the execution. There were instances where brothers left their brothers and they ran away because they had wife or children in hiding. There was an instance where a fellow ran away and his father was executed for his dash to freedom. We lived in a barrack that we picked, was mostly people of the same age group. The leader of that room was a fellow by the name of Hamek Schulkart, who was several years older than most of us. And one day he came home from work very dejected, and we found out what happened. On the job that he worked, the power press he set up crashed and his number was taken down, and which meant that he would be accused of sabotage, and eventually he would be taken out for execution. So we all suspected that, him being that kind of a leader as he was, he's going to try to run away. And if he runs away, our lives are going to be in danger. So we watched him wherever he went, was it to the latrines or for food. Wherever he went, there was 1 or 2 people from our room following him and watching he should not run away. When the execution was going to take place, we knew that a grave digger used to go to the place of the executions and used to dig the graves. So we knew the execution was going to take place next day. So when the grave digger came back, we knew that next day they're going to probably take our friend Hamek Schulkart for execution. We couldn't sleep that night, but we couldn't speak about his predicament, and we couldn't share it with him. And we surely he's going to make a try to run away. And we tried to watch him. And finally, with the youngest fellow in our room, who was his protege, blurted out, he says, Hamek, run, save yourself. Don't worry about us. Save yourself, run. And Hamek got up. He says, don't worry. I will not run. I will not jeopardize your lives, to save my own. I'm going to die like my wife on her feet.